Hi there. My name is Roosmarijn, and I'm one of the founders of the Healer Academy. In this video, I'm going to talk about the third dimension and the fifth dimension, and specifically how you can recognize that you are shifting from the third to the fifth dimension. Also, that hopefully allow you to feel a little bit more normal on this process, because when this happened to me, I felt scared to a certain point because it was pretty new and nobody was talking about what was happening. And because my body was experiencing it so intensely, it felt like a big shift. So let me take you through the 7 ways that I recognized that I was shifting from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. Welcome to the Healer Academy. We're here to help you understand your endless spiritual potential and how you can integrate it into your daily life. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and check out our courses on our website if you want to work more on your spirituality. And join our free WhatsApp group if you want to connect with others on the same path. So we've made other videos about what the third dimension is specifically and what the fifth dimension is specifically. But in the end, they are dimensions of consciousness. You can see them like a pair of glasses. If we put on a certain pair of sunglasses, we see the world differently than when we put on a different pair of sunglasses. It's like your entire perspective changes. The way you see the world, but also the way you feel about the world changes. It changes what you attract into your life and the fluidity of your life. So how do you know you are shifting from the third dimension of consciousness to the fifth dimension of consciousness? Well, first of all, you're watching this video, so you are probably making the shift right now. But let me take you through 7 symptoms that help you recognize that you are shifting. First thing that I recognized was that there was a big contrast suddenly between days. It was like I was in a void space. I was living in the light one day and everything looked vibrant. The colors looked vibrant. The world was beautiful. Stuff was happening. Good stuff was happening. And then the other day I would wake up and I would just feel dense and dark. And the world literally looked darker. I would do the same things, but I experienced them completely differently. And as I was moving closer and closer to the shift, this contrast became bigger and bigger. So I really moved from the complete dark one day to the complete light the other day. So this is one of the ways that you can recognize that your life is shifting, because this pendulum, this light and dark, are shifting so much. And this is happening in order to find that place of neutrality. That place of neutrality that is so centered in the fifth dimension. But first we need to go to the extremes of dark and of light to be able to let those go. So that is the first way that you can recognize that you're shifting. The second thing that I recognized in my life is that I was being asked to trust deeply. I had already let go of my life in Portugal at that point, and I was building a new life for myself in Costa Rica. But even in Costa Rica, things were happening that were crazy. Some of my closest friends just suddenly started taking space, literally from one moment to another. Surfing is my main passion, and my board started breaking. People started screaming at me in the water, which had never happened before. I'm not much of a fighter. So I was being asked to let go of all those things that I still was attached to. All the material possessions that I was still attached to, all the things inside of myself and the activities that I was attached to, but also the people that I was attached to. To really come back to me, to come back to a place inside of myself where I feel deep trust in the process, deep trust in the universe, and deep trust in myself. So don't worry if it feels like your life is falling apart at the moment. It might be just a test from the universe to see whether you trust deeply and whether you trust the process to take place. Because in order to move from the third to the fifth dimension, you need to kind of drop. I used to dream about jumping from a cliff. It feels a little bit like this. It feels a little bit like jumping from a cliff without wings and knowing that you're gonna land just fine. So a third way how you can recognize that you're shifting from the third to the fifth dimension is that your heart is breaking. For me, I woke up one night in the middle of the night and I felt the left side of my heart literally breaking. And the next night I would wake up and I would feel the right side of my heart literally breaking. It's like those walls that we had carefully built up for ourselves to protect ourselves, the walls that we needed in the third dimension. They are no longer needed in the fifth dimension. Because the fifth dimension is a dimension of unity, of oneness. So in that dimension, we don't need these walls. We don't need these protection spaces around our heart. So you can feel maybe that your heart is breaking and you feel tension and constriction around this area. That is also completely normal. Even if it's a physical sensation, it can be pretty strong. Of course, go to the GP and go to the medical system if you feel like that's needed. But for me, it was really, really intense and it was just one night. The fourth way how you can recognize that you are shifting is that your body starts changing. What I started to recognize is that my posture started changing. When I was young, I could never really sit upright. I was training a lot. I was actually a personal trainer. I was doing fitness. I knew what I was doing, but my shoulders were unable to expand. My heart was unable to expand. My lower back kept on getting hollow instead of having a nice posture. And now the last months it's just been magic because my body automatically shifted into alignment. I have gotten flexibility that I never got in my life. I've been able to do yoga postures that I was never able to do before. And not by training them more, but just by allowing the process to happen. I was also being pushed in a way to draw open. Sometimes I would literally be making this movement in order to open the chest. So trust your body. Trust what it's doing. It is bringing you to a new place, and a new body is part of that. A body that is not cringed in and constricted, because in the fifth dimension, your body can be open, can be free. Another thing that I noticed was that I could suddenly tolerate again a lot of foods that I wasn't able to tolerate before. So not only was my posture changing, but also was my nutrition changing. I was suddenly able to eat cheese again. I was able to eat meats again. I was able to eat bread again. All the stuff that I had actually shifted away from because my body was saying no to it. Now suddenly I was accepting all these different frequencies of food inside of my system again. So it was a beautiful process to witness. Another symptom is that magical synchronicities start to happen. Maybe you start seeing double numbers on the clock, like 1111. Or maybe just magical things happen in your life. It's like manifestation almost becomes instant. I can think of a pineapple and then 5 minutes later, somebody offers me a pineapple. So these magical synchronicities are really part of the fifth dimension. And there's two more ways how you can recognize you're shifting from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. One of them is that you are releasing the past. It's like you're starting over when you're entering the fifth dimension. For me, that showed itself by literally seeing my past fly through my system. I would get dreams of my past, dreams of people that I hadn't seen for years, flashes of images of living in Amsterdam, of living in Portugal, things that I had actively forgotten, but that were still part of my subconscious. So part of the change is that you are releasing the past and you're really moving into the present moment, where there is no sense of time, where there is no past, no future. There's simply the here and now. Funny moment for the truck to honk. right at that moment. So you're releasing the past when you're shifting from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. Then the last symptom that you could notice is that your three energetic centers, there's three other energetic centers that start popping up in your body, which is one around here between the throat and the heart space, one in the belly area, and one around the third eye. Those three are suddenly starting to get more light, more energy. So depending on how sensitive you are and how much you are actually feeling energy inside of your body, you might feel a lot of movement and a lot of activity happening in these areas of your body. So these were the 7 ways that I think you can recognize that you're shifting from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. I really hope that this video gave you a little bit of clarity of what is happening to you and for you, essentially. If you feel like you need a little bit of help releasing that density and the beliefs that are attached to the third dimension inside of you, then please check out my meditation. And if you have any questions or want to add anything, because maybe these shifts are different for you, maybe the way it's showing that you are shifting from the third dimension to the fifth dimension is very different. I can only share from my own heart and share from my experience, but I would love to hear your experience. I'm sending you so much love, so much light, so much blessings on this journey. Hang in there. You'll be just fine.